Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching Valentinus from the Russian server playing in the Tier 9 American medium tank. It is the M46 Patton. Now look, yesterday we had a cracking replay on this channel of the T95 FV4201, aka the Donker or the Chieftain, whatever you want to be calling that tank. And I have to admit, while that replay truly astounded me from just what can the best tank in the game achieve in the random queue with all of the advantages that you can have of premium consumables, probably bond equipment, everything attributed to the tank, I can understand why a lot of you out there don't really like watching replays like that. And so I wanted to follow it up today with a free-to-play kind of video, if we want to look at it like that. As you can see, Valentinus, he's not using any premium consumables here. He's not using cola, he's not using a large med kit, a large repair kit, for example. And as we're going to be seeing in the post-game stats, Valentinus is not even using a premium account for the gameplay that we're going to be seeing here. And so this replay, hopefully, for all of you out there, will give hope to all of those free-to-play players that, you know, it's not just the gold, but also, you know, skill and where you take your tank that is going to make the key difference. Now, of course, I'm not trying to say that in some kind of weird way, that it's the game is completely pay to win, and if you go and you just use premium consumables and premium ammunition, you're guaranteed to be victorious. If that was the case, then everybody would be having games like the one that we saw yesterday. It definitely will make a difference. It'll make that 10 or 20% difference, probably on the outcome of the battle, or at least on some of the battles. But not all of them, because more times out of 10 you can get by with standard ammunition, but those premium rounds definitely are very useful in the right situation. It's one of the things where I really don't like replays where I see that only one type of ammunition is being taken, and that's when it's either standard ammunition or premium ammunition, because when you don't have the right tool for the job, and you're leaving things more up to chance. Alright, so now, on with the show, Valentinus. Show what you are going to be able to do in the Tier 9 American medium tank, the Patton, today. So this vehicle wasn't always the top tier medium tank, and in fact it's not the top tier medium tank now, because the M48A5 Patton is. So the M46, I believe, was kind of a replacement for the Pershing that I originally think was at Tier 9, whether that's very, very early days. And then the Patton was at Tier 9, and then when Wargaming added in the Tier 10 medium tank, the M48A5 Patton, in update 7.4, then this was no longer the top tier medium tank. So what do you really need to know about the M46 Patton in the game? Well, it's this all-rounder. It's not the fastest, it's not the slowest, it's got 10 degrees of gun depression, which now isn't even the best, considering that there are Swedish medium tanks out there that can be able to use the hydropneumatic suspension to outperform it. It doesn't have the highest penetration, doesn't have the best alpha damage. Now that the Leopard, for example, the Leopard prototype has 420. But it's right in the middle. There's nothing that the Patton, the M46 Patton, can't do, and it's the flexibility of the tank that really allow it to go places. Now, Valentinus has managed to dominate this eastern flank on Erlenberg, and whenever you dominate the eastern or the western flank on Erlenberg, it definitely helps your team to be able to progress through the town. As we can see, there's ample opportunities to shoot into the town, to get side shots into heavies that are trying to grind it out in those frontal engagements. And when they are grinding it out in those frontal engagements, it's very easy for them to be distracted and to not focus on a flank that has been lost, and then if you're in your medium tanks or your light tanks or even some of your faster heavies, to be able to get nice easy shots into the fray. So Valentinus tried to take advantage of that, but with a bad run of luck with pretty much the only premium rounds they're going to be firing that I can remember in this replay. It's funny that the ones that cost the most are the ones that didn't actually achieve very much firing into the town there. So Valentinus is going to decide, well, I'm not really achieving a lot shooting into the town, so why not continue to flank, and maybe I can get up behind my opponents and deal with them. Now, the M46 Patton used to be a bit of a glass cannon medium tank, a bit like a Leopard prototype, but having just a little bit more armor. You know, it would take a high explosive round, but it wouldn't really take too much more than that. And then when Wargaming decided to buff the turret armor of the M48A5 Patton, I guess they felt like the line had to progress, and the Tier 9 medium tank being a glass cannon that then turned into this really fat, beefy Tier 10 medium tank, definitely one of the most heavily armored medium tanks in the game that isn't Soviet or Chinese, then they wanted to buff the turret armor of the M46. And that's where this vehicle is at the moment, that actually has some decent turret armor to go with its mobility, its reasonable alpha damage, and its all-round capacity. And so if you can get this thing hulled down, down. As we saw Valentinus doing at the start of the game, where he was bouncing the 112, bouncing the T43, bouncing the AMX 1357. Yeah, this tank can be quite formidable on a ridgeline now. Alright, so Valentinus shutting down one of the artillery on the enemy team. Maybe that's going to help him later on in this replay to avoid shots that might come in from the side. And now he's hunting a Tier 8 premium Soviet tank destroyer in the form of the Su-130PM. Now he turns his gun round, but it doesn't look like the Su was fully prepared, instead aiming at the P-43 turret that was caught out in the open. And that allows Valentinus to get out of that combat unscathed and with most of his starting hit points intact, going in to now make flanking plays against the heavies. Now we're going to have to see if the VK-16801 or the Object 705 or even the T95 were aware that Valentinus was going to be flanking, and it doesn't look like that's the case, as one Tier 9 American tank takes down another, puts a round into the back of the T95, and now decides to do something very bold indeed. Just watch this, boys and girls. Realizes the VK can be outmaneuvered. Realizes the VK can be outflanked. Well, at least when he pushes the T95 out the way. And wants to instead focus on the Object 705 and get into cover. Wow, what a great way to get behind a Soviet heavy tank, take them out the game, while avoiding damage from the VK-101. That's an incredible play there to be able to handle that. And I just realized this isn't a VK-101, this is an Emotion, an unskinned Moistion. And a bit of a poor shot there by Valentinus. Doesn't actually manage to go through the VK. Now fires a premium round. Oh god, oh no. Is Valentinus panicking right now, boys and girls? Tries to fire one up into the cheeks of the VK. But this is an absolute disaster. Loses most of their remaining hit points when after making such a great play. And it looks like Valentinus stops there. Maybe takes a deep breath and realizes, wow, I kind of sucked there. But you know what? Well, maybe I can still go down swinging. And that's what I love to do in my American medium tanks. And we're going to have to see if that's what Valentinus is going to be doing here. Because, you know, you're on 6 kills. You're on 5,200 damage. Your team is melting to the left and to the right of you. The P-43 turret dies towards the north. The ISU-152 in combat with the T-28 prototype. And so that now means that Valentinus is against 6 enemy vehicles with only the artillery helping him out. And for a split second there, after the Object 430 killed the M12 on Valentinus' team, he was in a 1 versus 6 situation. And a full health ISU-152 who derps a shell over the top of Valentinus' tank. I'm not sure if he's using the derp gun or if he's using the what used to be the BL-10 on that tank, but I know it's not using the real BL-10 anymore. Valentinus takes a splash from the enemy artillery. Don't know why they're not using the med kit now. Hopefully maybe they're just saving it in case they get splashed again. And decides to get out of harm's way from the ISU-152. Now hopefully can manage to sneak in a shot over the top of the dead T-95 backwards, forwards. Forwards, backwards. Valentinus is trying to make their tank not a stationary target. Is the ISU-152 going to try and deliver the coup de grace to Valentinus here? He's got to work fast before the KV-3 or the Object 430 comes in. The ISU misses an armor-piercing round that actually bounces off the top of Valentinus' tank, and here come the medium tanks, the 430. The artillery splashes. Valentinus uses that medkit that he saved and shuts down the Soviet medium tank to the side while turning his attention to another Soviet medium tank of a lower tier. Now on 246 hit points, he's a 50-50 whether he's going to die if he gets penetrated here by the Soviet medium tank, but he doesn't seem like the Soviet medium tank manages to penetrate the M46's armor, and now Valentinus is pretty much a 50-50 whether he's going to kill him with a single shot, but the shell rolls dead even. 390. Now with 220 hit points on the left on the T-44-100, and Valentinus shuts him down while once again avoiding an impact from the Su-14. Wow, that is really neck and neck stuff. I thought that Valentinus, when I first watched this replay, was just simply going to have to try and go down swinging here. How are you going to deal with a full health Tier 8 tank destroyer and then 2 Soviet medium tanks one after another like that? The KV-3 actually spots him, but Valentinus puts a round right through the turret armor of the KV-3, shutting down the Tier 7 Soviet heavy tank that a lot of people are playing actively right now, as it is the tank that will lead on towards the new tank tree of Soviet double-barreled heavy tanks that I really hope we're going to have in time for Christmas. But seeing how we haven't received a test server as of yet, if we don't get one in the next couple of weeks, I'm worried that we're not going to have it in time to enjoy this holiday season. Anyway, I'll just have to see if that's going to be the case. And of course, stay tuned to the channel as I will let you know everything there is to know about release dates on that. But I thoroughly recommend you get in your KV-3s and try and save up maybe 60 to 80,000 experience by unchecking accelerated crew training if you have not done so already. Alright, so the KV-3 on Valentinus' team is letting him know that the SU-14-1 was last spotted. Well, not spotted at all this game, but thinks he's in the B1 area, and that could be really helpful. Maybe if you took a shell from an artillery earlier on in the game, and you know roughly where they were, then try and help out your allies by letting them know all of that extra information. And that might allow Valentinus to make the play against the SU-14-1 at the end of the game. But just like yesterday, whenever I'm getting into these kind of situations, I kind of like feel nervous, I cross my arms, my pits start to get a little bit sweaty, but maybe that's oversharing, as I really don't like trying to take on artillery at the end of the game, especially when they're hiding in all of these bushes. Oh, Valentinus, please, you have fought with honor this entire game. 8,000 damage dealt, 11 kills in a standard tier 9 American medium tank. Please make it 12. Please make it 12. There's the SU-14-1. Has Valentinus been spotted? No, he hasn't, so he's got a clean shot here. He pulls back behind the tree to be able to amplify his camera rating. He wouldn't have even got spotted if he had low rolled there. What a clinical takedown, and what an absolute tour de force. Free-to-play replay. So Valentinus picks up the Pascucci's medal for dealing with 2 self-propelled guns, the one that everybody wants, the Colabanos medal for standing alone against at least 5, in this case momentarily for 6, a Pools medal for those 12 kills, and a Steel War medal in the Patton, would you believe it, for being able to ricochet 2,090 damage. As I said, the M46 turret armor is definitely a cut above the Leopard prototype, and one of the reasons to keep wanting to play that tank, even though the Leopard prototype has received all of those buffs recently. With 2,124 base experience points, that's just absolutely incredible for a tier 9 medium tank. He could have got pretty much half less than that and might have even still got an ace tanker, a double top gun with 12 kills. Absolutely outrageous. And here you go. Even without a premium account, Valentinus makes a small profit at tier 9. But you know what, boys and girls? I couldn't really have this. Even though I have no idea who Valentinus is, I just found their incredible replay on the What Replays Are You website. I feel bad that they're a free-to-play player, and even though they're playing in a different region, I'm going to gift them 30 days of premium, and I don't know how much gold, 2,500 gold as well, I think. So Valentinus, congratulations to you on your monster replay in the M46 Patton. It was a breath of fresh air for me to see standard vehicles without all of the benefits, having ridiculous games and still managing to even make profit even towards the high end. Hopefully this will help you make a little bit more, and spicy about Shoy for sharing it with the World of Tanks community. And I hope all of you out there enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's time for another World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week the majority of you have voted to see the Object 430U, so come along as I play probably the best starting medium tank line in the game, starting at tier 1 and working my way up towards tier 10, so you can see what you have to look forward to if you want to grind the line, or if you already have the tanks, maybe pick up a few tips and tricks along the way. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.